Welcome back to a new video. It is somehow already almost April, which is crazy. So let's get this bullet journal set up for April. I decided to do a bit of a celestial theme this month because I had these papers that I have been meaning to use. I got these scrapbooking papers initially for end papers for bookbinding, but some of them don't really work very well for bookbinding because they have the central design and it doesn't really go very well as end papers. So I thought, might as well use it, and I have some celestial washi tape, so we'll go with that. I decided to use this as kind of a central moon thing. It looks really fun, and I will add decorations around the edges. Now, me just thinking about the fact that it's almost April it's kind of blowing my mind a little bit. I feel like the year is halfway over already, and not just in the middle of spring. I have so many plans for this year, and I am making progress in all of them, but I also have so many plans for the second half of this year, and I feel like I should have already made progress in some of those plans, and my brain's going a little crazy, a bit overwhelmed with everything. So I'm trying very hard to take things one day at a time and not get too caught up in future planning, which is ironic because I am literally putting together a planning notebook for April. But that's just how it goes, and one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 minute at a time if I need to. So we'll just go from there. The washi tape that I am using in this setup I got from an Archer and Olive subscription box last September, I think it was. I want to say September. So all of these kind of go together, which is very useful since I don't have any celestial stickers or anything. And the pens that I'm using also came with that box, if I'm remembering correctly, which I don't always. So I'm quite pleased with how everything turned out, and the addition of the extra paper that I had, I think it all looks really nice. Now let's get into the first of the functional spreads. This is a calendar spread, and if you're paying any attention as I'm drawing these lines, you'll note that I did it wrong. I added a 31st day, and I'll figure this out in a bit, but I haven't yet, and I'm going to end up having to cover up that last 31st day because there are only 30 days in April. Like I said, I'm going a bit crazy. Now, I don't really use my calendar spreads all that often. I keep a separate calendar where I write down appointments and what events are going on in that particular day. So this is more a planning space where I can write down, okay, here's when I need to do my newsletter, and here's when I need to make sure I have whatever set up for book launch or promotional things. It's really just a planning space instead of a calendar for recording events and such. However, I do find it very useful for planning because I'm terrible at remembering what day of the week it is. I can't. I work from home. My schedule is pretty much the same every day, including weekends. I get up, I walk the dogs, I go to work. Well, I don't always work on the weekends, but the schedule doesn't change much, so trying to remember what day of the week it is can be a bit difficult. Hence the need for this calendar, especially when I'm trying to plan things in advance. Anyways, I still find it very useful. I don't know if I will continue doing a calendar spread in future bullet journals, but for this one, up until I run out of space, I shall continue using it. And very shortly, I'm going to discover that I have an extra day in there and just watch and see how I go about this, because it's a bit entertaining. There's the pause. The counting on the knuckles going, wait, does April have 31 days? And then actually had to go look at my phone calendar to figure out, yes, it's only 30 days. I'll cover up that extra box in just a minute, don't worry. These papers also came in that Archer and Olive box back in September. I don't use them all that often. They're very vibrant, and a lot of my spreads, my designs, my themes, I prefer a bit more muted colors, something that's not quite so in your face. But since I'm doing a sky celestial theme and it had the tapes that came in the box and everything kind of goes together, I figured that it would be fine. And I do like it. I think it's very nice. It is bright and kind of in your face, but I like it. And I don't use the calendar spread all that often, so it'll be fine. And there I go, covering up that last little box. Well done, me being clever. I was too lazy to get up and go get some paint pens, excuse me. The next functional spread that I am putting together is my content planner. As a self-employed independent author, editor, and PR manager, a lot of the things that I do are not necessarily relevant to your average office job, so I have to do this kind of setup for my own specific needs, and those needs are primarily marketing of my books and other people's books, well, one in particular. So I have to do a content planner, and once a month I will go through and I will plan out all of my social media. I will take all the pictures, all the videos, prepare every post, do every scheduling thing, and figure out, okay, when do things need to happen. So on the left side I have the social media posts that I do, and on the right side I do my video planning and my planning for the reader group that I admin, which is quite fun. If you're interested in dragon books, I would highly recommend the Order of the Dragon Forged over on Facebook. Sorry, shameless shelf plug. I'm pretty sure I said self plug. You know what I mean. Anyways, I find the bullet journal really useful for this kind of thing where most calendars aren't, because it is so specific to my needs that I can craft it exactly how I want to, and it works every time. I will, however, in future months probably be adding an extra page here where I start planning adverts. I haven't done paid adverts for my books in several years at this point. I wanted to make sure I had a decent backlog, and I've been working a lot on word of mouth marketing and influencer type marketing and social media stats and that sort of a thing. And I've gotten to the point where now that my books are wide, they're distributed in multiple bookshops, multiple places, not just Amazon, I feel like it is time to start doing paid adverts again. And that'll be an adventure. I haven't quite figured out all of the things that I need for that. I'm going to have to go back and relearn how to do Facebook adverts, because that's where I'll be primarily working, and I'm sure the algorithm has changed. I'm going to have to find a new course. I think I'll use the David Gokran Facebook ads course, and I'll add that in and go from there. But it should be an adventure, and I'm kind of looking forward to it. I do like collecting all the data and such. It's very entertaining, and analytics have become kind of a hobby of mine. Don't ask. Long story. Anyways, moving on. The spread that I'm currently working on is another one that is very specific to my needs. This is my word count tracker. It is just a bar graph where I fill in the number of words that I wrote in a day. Each section is 500 words, with a section down at the bottom for if I wrote anything by hand, which I am trying to do. I just haven't been doing it very much. Anyways, this is really fun to see filled out at the end of the month. I love seeing what I wrote, when I wrote, what projects I'm working on. I do different colors for the different projects. I will fill things in if I'm editing. It's great fun. But I do hate writing out all of those lines every single month. So I'm trying to think of a way that I can do a printable, maybe, to do something for this page. I'll think on it and let you know. The next spread that I'm doing is my habit tracker and memory keeping spread. On the left page, I have the habit tracker. I usually do 4 different habits, although lately I've only been needing 3. I track whether I write, when I'm making stuff, or when I am doing movement. And by movement, I mean, exercising other than walking the dogs. And I have an extra 4th space in case there's something that I want to start tracking, because sometimes it's very useful, but generally I only track 3. Still, I find it very helpful to take note of when I'm doing certain things. Not that I necessarily want to have to do everything every single day, but it's good as a data gathering thing to see overall when things are happening and what I'm doing, and am I maintaining certain habits, that sort of a thing. However, I only need 1 page for that. So on the right side, I do a memory keeping spread. And I think this is fun because I basically just decorate the page and leave some extra room, and then I can add things like receipts or ticket stubs or pictures that I printed out or stickers or whatever. I can leave it just blank if I want to, which I did for February primarily. And it's really fun. I love having the little memory keeping in there. It's pretty. I'm not too worried about covering up the decoration with whatever ephemera I collect, and I don't know, I think it goes well with my habit tracking. The last of the functional spreads. This is my book reading stats. I keep a separate reading journal, which I will actually be redoing very shortly. The video for that hopefully will be up soon. But this is where I keep track of my TBR, how many books I have on my to be read list, how many books I've read in a month, did not read, acquired, or destashed. And then I keep a list of the books that I did acquire and whether they were digital or library loans or actually I bought them or whatnot. And then on the right hand side, that is the list of books that I read in a month and the rating that I give them. This is more just data collecting that I can then transfer over to my reading journal in a more elaborate format, which I like quite a lot. I have to say, it is extremely satisfying to write down how many books I've read or what books I've read as I read them and watch the page fill up. It is less satisfying to add to the books acquired list, but that's because I'm trying to watch how many books I buy. I buy a lot of books. I do read them, I promise, but I also buy them. So now we're getting into the weekly spreads. I'm just going in and dividing them up. I do the same weekly spread every single week because it works pretty well for me, where I do 4 days on the top, 3 days on the bottom, and then a little bit of decoration in the bottom corner. And this is just where I do my daily to-do list. So things like I need to post this particular thing on this particular day, or I need to complete whatever admin tasks for marketing, I need to do formatting for my book, I need to do editing for a client, I need to do whatever. Anything can go in here, to-do list, actually primarily work related, I will admit. I don't really do day-to-day house stuff to-do list in here. Interesting. I never thought of that before. But I find this very helpful for keeping track of what I need to do, and again, I find it extremely satisfying when I can put the little tick mark next to the task and then cross it off. I do both, partly because it is so satisfying, and it's just very helpful for me working for myself, trying to keep track of a business, because that's what I'm doing. I am building my business and it is growing, and so I have a lot of things I need to keep track of. I will admit, it took me absolutely forever to write in all the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and stuff, not because it takes a while to write those words, but because I kept forgetting what the days were that I was meant to be putting in, so the 7th, 8th, 9th, what have you, and it took me absolutely ages to do that. So now I'm just going back through and adding in some decoration for each little corner. Again, these are a lot brighter than I normally go for, but I think it turned out nicely. I like it, especially with the washi tape. It kind of, I think, calms things down from the pictures. Now that spring is fully upon us, do you have any fun plans for going on adventures or planning out different books to read, that sort of a thing? I love spring. I love the flowers. I love the temperature. I love going on adventures and getting out of the house slightly more than I did during the winter. And I'm thrilled to be finally in the spring months. The one thing I don't love about spring is the return of the bugs, but that's neither here nor there. Nothing I can do about it except complain, which I reserve the right to do, by the way, if there are bugs. So, anyways, I hope you are having a fantastic spring. I hope you are, or, well, autumn if you're in the southern hemisphere. And I hope you are enjoying your day, having good reads, and let's go back and flip through all of the pages for April. I don't know if this is a celestial theme or a sky theme, to be honest. I think probably more sky than celestial, even though there are stars and things. But I really love how it turned out, even with the colors being a bit brighter than I'm used to. I think everything fits together really nicely while still having enough variation between the pages to be distinct. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and if you have any ideas for next month's theme, because I am looking for ideas. Anyways, have a fantastic day. I hope that you are enjoying life and enjoying spring, and I will see you next time. Thanks for sticking with me. Bye.